America, land of the bravedom, and home of the freedom, birthplace of free will and also basketball. Coincidence? Probably. Where voting is a right and democracy is alive and well. If you want either of these two geriatric nursing home escapees to run our country.
Did you just see Maduro, Venezuela? It's unbelievable. We are a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat.
America has a big issue that has been garnering more and more attention in the past few years. And it feels like for the past 2 election cycles, I feel like most Americans, despite the increased polarization and diaspora across the political spectrum, can agree that it seems like none of the candidates running for president are fully what anyone really wants in the Oval Office, and that people are just mainly voting so that the other person doesn't win, which doesn't make sense. It's supposed to be America. It's supposedly the beacon of freedom and liberty for the entire world, and it doesn't make sense that our voting system is so not representative of either of those values. So why is it like this? The answer is pretty complicated and has been covered, at least what issues there are, by other creators who I'm going to link in the description, who do a really good job. And the answer does really much boil down to the Electoral College, but also the two-party system. Now, those videos, they mainly go over the voting aspect, like voter suppression laws, and as well as issues within the parties that are already prominent, as well as the Electoral College, which I will also briefly cover. But this video is mainly going to go over the problem with the two-party system itself, and what can we do to mitigate it, but also what has already been done, and also other countries that have successfully use a non-two-party system for their elections, and how we can maybe end up like that. So let's get into it. Okay. For my first interview here, we have Maddie.
Hi.
So if you're okay with me asking, would you rather have Joe Biden or Donald Trump be president?
Neither.
Neither? Okay. And would you rather have a multi-party system instead of a two-party system?
Yes.
And for that multi-party system, would you prefer the single transferable vote system or another system?
I don't think I have a preference because I don't know much about it, so
Okay.
I'm not sure.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah.
For my next interview, I have Avery here. So, Avery, would you rather have Joe Biden or Donald Trump as president, or neither?
Neither.
Okay. And would you rather have a two-party system or a multi-party system?
Multi-party system.
And for a multi-party system, would you rather an STV or a different alternative solution?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, hi. Oh, do you want to talk about voter rights in America? Wait, no. Wait, I'm not crazy. I just really quick. Can we just I just want to show you. Hi. So I didn't mean to scare you. I'm not crazy. I'm not. An example of a system that has been in place for over a century is proportional representation, and this can perhaps be best exemplified by Ireland. Ireland instituted proportional representation over a century ago, and it's they use a system called a single transferable vote, which is aka the STV, but I'm going to call it Steve because it sounds like something else. But basically, there are more than two parties, and instead of voting for a candidate, you rank your parties on a ballot, and that's why it's called transferable, because in case something happens to that party, or and there isn't enough to make up a seat, it's transferred to your next party that you ranked. So, and that keeps going until there's no issues, but usually there isn't. And once the votes are in, they take the percentage of the votes between the parties, and they award the seats in the same amount of percentages that the votes come in. And then from there, the party appoints their own members into those seats that they've already been awarded. And this would prevent underrepresentation, as well as ensuring the most competent members of the party are likely to be in a position of use. For example, if it's a small state, not as many options but for politicians, but the party is very full of competent politicians, they can just make sure that the best politicians are in place per seat. And so that you're just getting the best of the best. It also means that instead of the 51% of people not really are getting pretty much all the say, and the 49% pretty much getting ignored, that doesn't happen anymore. Both groups get hurt fully. So by definition, this system is just straight up more democratic. Now, would you rather vote for someone who you don't want in order to prevent someone you want even less from winning? Or would you rather just straight up vote for the person you want? Because according to the Pew Research Center, majorities of both Republican-leaning, 57%, and Democratic-leaning independents, 55%, cite this as a major reason why they lean towards their parties. They also found that over the past several decades, in 1994, being the start of this, Americans have just been less interested in both parties. So in 1994, just 6% of the public didn't like either party, but now it's grown to 27%, which is over a quarter. Overall, about half of adults under age 40, so about 48%, say they wish there were more political parties to choose from. So it's clear that the younger generation wants more parties, and it's not like there aren't any. There are several. There's, People's Party, there's Green Party, there's Libertarian. There's some other ones, but they don't even really matter. And most people don't see them as viable, which makes sense because they haven't even won any actual major elections in over a century, and it wasn't those parties who did it anyways. So, and certainly not in our generation's time. So, what can be done about this? The biggest challenge these alternative parties face is the current voting system. And because it's a winner-takes-all system, and that requires a majority victory, and it reinforces the either-or mentality. And given the vast resources of the disposal of Democrats and Republicans, the system will just not let any independent parties thrive. So, to add to this, you also have the Electoral College. So it's crazy, it's wild, and I'm here to explain it to you. So basically what we got here is, it really shouldn't exist in the first place, but it's 538 electors vote every single election. You have your popular vote where everyone votes. And do you think that's where it ends? Not in America. So a majority of 270 electoral votes are needed to win the election, not the popular vote. Popular vote actually does not matter pretty much at all. They're supposed to take into account the electoral vote, but we'll get to that. So your state has the same number as electors as it does members in its congressional delegation. Basically, the numbers of senators you have, which every state has 2, and the amount of House of representatives you have in the House of Reps, which depends on your state population. So electors are then chosen by the parties in each state, because it's state to state. And they're supposed to pledge ahead of time. And this is where it gets really, really confusing and really stupid. So the thing is you can just not vote for who you pledge for. And in some states they are adamant you don't do that. You can get fines, you can get disqualified. But in the Constitution, this is perfectly fine. They have nothing against that. You can just straight up not vote whoever wins the popular vote in your state. You can just not vote for them. You could vote for Harambe as an electoral college voter, which is insane. Not in all states, but in a concerning amount of them. So the best part of this too is it's even weirder, because if there is no majority, instead of just taking the popular vote and calling it a day, they go to the House of Representatives, which is, that's not really great. That's not really a great move. I'm not gonna lie. That's not great. So that being said, it's pretty clear that this is kind of insane. It's kind of bullshit, and it feels like it undermines the whole idea of the popular vote, which, funny enough, is why it exists. A lot of the founding fathers basically said, I don't want all white landowners to vote. I only want the elite white landowners to vote, and so that's why the Electoral College exists, because it wasn't exclusive enough. So. Also, Electoral College is not even a college. No one graduated from that. It's not real. This is stupid. So it looks like America will never institute the STV system, the Steve system. But what if I told you it already did? Because across the entire eastern seaboard, local governments adopted this style of voting from 1912 to 1957. And this brought a lot of improvements. Voter turnout was increased dramatically. The representation of other parties other than the dominant 2 also increased dramatically. So And there's a bunch of other benefits of just people having more say in what they want in their communities. And so if it was so successful, why is it gone? It might seem counterintuitive, but it's because it did what it was supposed to do. This caused lots of politicians and their parties to lose their easily held power. And because of that, they couldn't handle that very well. And so they did a lot of smear campaigns. And lots of these were based largely on the fact that it gave power to black voters in particular, which is not a very popular thing amongst a lot of people and still is with some people. But this led it to slowly being wiped away from cities until it was gone for good, last being abolished from Cleveland in 1957. So it's no wonder that the same politicians who have held on to the phony electoral college also wanted to hold on to the winner-takes-all system that's maintained their power for so long. They were threatened by the people having true democratic power, and also, so they eventually just found ways to get it replaced. And another big reason is special interest groups or lobbyists nowadays. They shell out so much cash by now that they play a significant role in a lot of policy decisions. And while I don't want to go into too much detail, but just because it's its own can of worms, it's its own rabbit hole. Lots to talk about there, because it's all over the place. Lobbyists is just, this country is awesome, basically. But basically all I'm gonna say is, it's a lot easier to pay your way through politics when there's just two parties than when there's a lot of parties. Doesn't quite work that well, but so they're definitely against it, and they have the money to keep it at bay for at least some time, a decent amount of time. So while this would be really great, and this shows that it is entirely possible to happen and succeed long term, and also be not super difficultly adapted, and also accomplish all the things a democracy is supposed to accomplish. My example earlier, Ireland, that's a different country. Obviously, there's a big glaring ones, like the biggest one is mostly come from the human geographical aspect, because Ireland, small island, they have about less than 1/60th of the U.S. population. Pretty big difference. That's less than this. They have more population than a couple states, but those are the really empty ones. There's certain states that have just more population than the entirety of Ireland. So big difference there. But another big thing is culture. So despite having a large Catholic population, it's actually it's pretty it's a more conservative religion, but a very progressive population at the same time. And which is probably due to another pretty big cultural aspect, and probably the biggest in this entire discussion. So unlike in America, where colonists came in and used genocide, ethnic cleansing to remove the native population for about 60 years straight, and continued to do so afterwards, but the genocide took place for about 60 years. The Irish are the natives. They resisted 4 centuries straight of English colonization. They fought several wars and were subject to the typical atrocities seen in colonization projects, such as labor exploitation, systemic starvation, as seen in the Great Potato Famine, and ethnic cleansing, as seen in Northern Ireland with the replacement, and interference in politics. But however, the Irish continued to fight until they won independence fully in 1922. And that presents a very great challenge, because they immediately put in their STV, because obviously they want to make sure the people's voices are heard, because the people have been fighting for so long. But in America, its culture, especially in its older population, is built on exceptionalism, which basically, not going to go in a big word, but basically they think they're better than everyone else, based on just fallacies. Colonialism and the utmost importance of the individual. But that's the thing. It's mostly America's older population, and that tries to uphold this culture. And obviously, it's been seen throughout history that younger people tend to be more rebellious and wild and all that. But with the current political landscape, it wouldn't be too out there to suggest there's a possibility for real change. So, there's been a lot of yapping, and I'm genuinely impressed with anyone besides Miss Rittman who actually made it this far, because I yapped so much that I don't even know how to end this. But at the end of the day, it's not about the destination. It's about the friends you live, laugh, love. Okay, I have Joe Biden on the phone. It's Joe Biden. He's on the phone. He's gonna tell us what he thinks about. He's gonna tell us what he thinks about voter rights. Okay, if you're comfortable with me asking Joe, do you really want? Oh, this is awkward. Do you want Joe Biden or Donald Trump to win, or neither?
Um, I'm voting for Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
That okay? So you could have just said neither. Would you rather America have a wait? Okay, never mind. Okay, would you rather have America have a multi-party system or stick with a two-party system?
I think we just go one party.
Okay, cool. Do you think specifically the STV system would be preferable?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know what that means, man.
Of course you wouldn't. I have Donald Trump on the phone. I'm gonna ask him questions now too. So, hey, how's it going, Donald?
Hello, America. It is me, Donald Trump. As you can tell with my perfect
You
voice.
you can use your normal voice. It's all right, Donald.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, if you're comfortable with me asking, do you really want either Joe Biden or Donald Trump to win president?
My name is Donald Trump, and I would like to win the presidency to remove all your rights.
Okay. Would you rather America have a multi-party system or stick with two parties?
I think that America should have only one party, and that is the grand old party, the Republican Party, my party of choice.
What is it?
Obviously,
What is it with you guys? Okay. Do you think specifically the STV system would be preferable?
you see, I don't know what that is, but obviously it's socialist propaganda, and it's anti-American. So very clearly, we need to get rid of it and remove it from all foreign countries before it spreads like a virus and infects our way of life.